Today I'm going to do a quick unboxing and initial review of the Khind ARF26 air fryer. So this unit comes in a semi bluish greenish color like this, and I just received this today. So I will basically show you some measurements. The height of the unit is about 32 centimeters. That's the height of the unit, and the width of the unit is about 25 centimeters. So let's have a look at what's inside. I have not used this yet before, so I'm just going to move this back a little bit. Let's have a look at the basket. Okay, this is just some paper guard. I'm going to remove this. So let's have a look at the basket first. It comes with a silicone mat, and I believe this mat is to leave the base on when you take it out. Now the basket itself, it's a two basket design, and to release the inner basket, you've got to flip this safety cover, right? And there's a button here, so if you press this, you can release the inner basket. Now the inner basket, the non-stick material seems above average quality. It doesn't feel like those very cheap non-stick pots, and it's not very thick, but it's not like those very super thin ones. So let's have a look at this. So in terms of the width or the diameter, it's about 19 cms, and the depth, you can see the depth is about 9 cms, so not very deep. And there's actually a max level here, about like 3/4 of the basket. So you can see the basket is perforated with holes, and this will actually help with the airflow. And also on the sides, there are actually 4 slits, if you can see, to actually help with I think the airflow as well. Now this is metal for sure. Okay, the handle itself, I think this is aluminium, and the bill is all right. Now the outer basket, it's pretty flat. There is a small dimple in the middle, hopefully to curve up the airflow. Not very significant. In fact, they should actually make it more curved upwards in the middle so that the air actually circulates, but this is considerably flat. Okay, nothing much. It's fully enclosed, so this is good, because when the oil drips out, it doesn't flow out anywhere, unlike some other designs. Okay, so let me put this thing back, and then we'll leave this aside for now. Now the air fryer unit itself, it comes with 2 control knobs. One's for the temperature. It goes from 0 all the way to 200. It's an analog control, and you can actually hear the thermostat actually running up. So anywhere from 0, I think it starts with 80, all the way to about 200, and the timer goes from 0 minutes to 30 minutes, and you can turn back if you wish. Now let's have a look at what's inside. Okay, now the heater element, it's not super big. There are like 3.5 coils around, and this is rated at, I remember it was 1400 watts, but the coil isn't so big, and it only covers like the middle section of the basket. So I'd say like the coverage would be around 70 to 75% of the basket. Now the first thing when I got this was I wanted to check what's in here, and unfortunately the entire internal side is fully ABS plastic. So the basket is metal, inner basket and outer basket of the air fryer is metal, but the enclosure is fully ABS plastic, and this I don't like, because I wish that they actually inlaid maybe an aluminum cover so that, you know, when the heat goes up it doesn't, you know, fume up or anything. But I haven't used this yet, so I will reserve my comments. Okay, there is a metal lip here, but the rest is not good. Plus I wish it really is built out of aluminium or metal, but let's see how it performs. Now at the back of the unit there's basically air vents. I have not owned a air fryer before, so I don't know what the air vents are used for. I guess it's of course to release the heat, but I don't understand why we want to release the heat when we are actually cooking or drying or grilling food. But let's see. I suppose if one wants to, you could. No, we should not. I mean, it's designed like that, right? Now at the bottom of the unit, not so much. Let me just see the rating. So the rating is 1400 watts, and there are some minor air vents around the bottom to let out heat as well, I suppose. Okay, not very much of special controls. There are two lights. I believe one is the power and one is the heater. Let's see which is which. I'm not sure. Okay, so the first thing to do when you get any oven or air fryer is to wipe and clean, and one also needs to wipe the heating element. Why? Because all heating elements from the factory is covered with a layer of oil or grease to prevent any corrosion, and we need to remove some of it before we heat it up. And we possibly need to heat it up for at least 1-2 minutes without any food to burn off the layer of grease. So I'll go do that and then we will come back. So I've given the baskets a wash. So let me just like place this thing in, so it will just click into place. Alright, so at least my unit, the build quality is okay. So let me just move this back a little bit so I can show you this. The basket is pretty flat to the top of the outer basket, and when we put it in, I just have to slide it in. Doesn't close very well, does it? There we go, much better. Alright, so let me just move this to the side, to the front, so you can see a bit better. So it actually closed very well. Okay, and comes with a Malaysia 3-pin fuse socket with serial approval. I'm not sure for some of the cheaper China brands, but let's see. So first time heating this thing up. Let's turn this thing on, and temperature maybe I'll do to, well, we got to heat it up, so maybe I'll do to 200 to like just burn off the grease. So I would think one of it is power, and this should be the heater. And when the temperature reaches what we need, I think the heater will go off, but the power is still on. This is basically your power supply. Okay, so this is being heated up. Now the sound, the countdown clock timer, pretty loud. The fan, if you can hear, is alright. Immediately I'm getting some, this is the first time I'm heating up, so immediately I'm getting some fresh plastic type smell. It has to be, because all new ovens are like this, so there is of course a layer of grease that comes from the factory that needs to get burned off. Okay, one thing I didn't notice is the vents from behind the oven. There's actually an active fan blowing out. So this, I was hoping like the hot air would actually circulate, but the hot air seems to be blowing out of the back of the unit very strongly, and this would actually heat up my kitchen very much. And this is actually very hot air. This is actually worse than an oven. At least the oven doesn't circulate air out of the oven. This is like a hair dryer. Okay, I don't know if all air fryers are like this, but the hot air really comes out of the back of the vents. Okay, well, let this heat and then we'll come back and have a look at it. So the unit basically is on, timer is on, but the heater is off. So the orange light turns off. So green light is the power and the timer on. The orange light is the heater. I will tell you that I don't like the hot air blowing out of the back of the oven. It's ridiculous, because I'll be like just heating up my kitchen. And I never used an air fryer before, but if this is how an air fryer works, I am not happy. Why don't I just use an oven? Because the oven at least doesn't circulate hot air out of the unit. This is actively blowing hot air out of the unit. Well, let me just start up the unit and then we'll see what happens, okay? Maybe because there's no hot food, no food inside, that's why the hot air is coming out, I'm not sure. So I've finished the first heating cycle, and alright, the power is off. Let me just so the base unit is pretty hot. I'll say like because this is plastic, it's not hot, but I don't know how long this is going to last like this. They should at least have a metal plate around the internal. Didn't like it, but hey, it's an economical unit, so maybe that's the reason for the design. Okay, it's not that hot towards the touch, but so that's the small heating element. Let me move closer so you can see it. Okay, fan seems to be alright, but only that I can't say why they need to have such a big vent for the hot air to actually come out. So much of it. It's and I don't know if all air fryers are designed like this, or maybe it has to be like this. I am not sure, but let's put this thing back. Now I'm gonna do my second reheat cycle, just to burn off some more grease. Alright. The unit also comes with a small booklet, basically a basic instruction manual. It goes through like what are the components in the air fryer, and then it also gives you a small table of like how long you should cook food. So for example, frozen chips, which is like between 200 to 500 grams, about 12 to 20 minutes. So it says like 200 grams of frozen chips will take about 12 minutes at 200 degrees Celsius. And this booklet you can also I believe you can also download from the Khind website. So most of the cooking is done around 200 or 180. I think for dehydration it's like 80, but it's not mentioned in this booklet. Okay, so the booklet has got English, Chinese and Malay language. Just gonna leave this aside for now. So I've put in a layer of frozen fries, and this is actually frozen from the packet, and according to at least the booklet, this will take about 10 to 12 minutes. So let's do 12 minutes, and halfway, about 6 minutes, we'll give it a flip. Okay, let me just turn this thing on. So 200 degrees. Okay, the knobs are all pretty good, and during cooking this thing is warm but not hot, so you can touch this. Okay, so it says 10 minutes. There we go. So let's leave this. So this is the first time I'm putting food in the air fryer, so let me just check the air vents again. So air is still being blown out very strongly, almost like a hair dryer. Still very hot air coming out. Something I worry about, like, you know, if I keep using this, my kitchen will be really hot. I keep mentioning this because I never understood like how an air fryer works. I was always under the impression that the hot air actually circulates, but it's not. The hot air comes from the vents on top. See this top portion? It actually lets the air intake. It goes through the heater coil, and then it gets blown to the food, and it circulates around, and then it comes out of the vents. So the hot air doesn't actually circulate. The hot air, well, at least maybe a lot of it is not circulated. The hot air gets blown out of the unit, which is maybe I misunderstood, because whenever you see commercials, you know, it always says like the hot air is circulating. Well, it doesn't seem that way because the hot air actually gets blown out at the vents. I have to look at the results, but an oven, a normal convection oven, does not let you leak hot air out of the unit. An air fryer, apparently that's how it works, and the air that comes out is pretty hot. So let me wait until this is over. So at about halfway down, we're just going to give it a shake to like move the fries around, and then let's see. I'm going to pause here. Right, so this fries is being cooked, and it's almost like 5 to 6 minutes. Now one thing I noticed is that, you know, hot air is being blown out from behind the vents. Okay, now I want to just remind you to like make sure that your power cord is not directly behind the vents. If not, you'll just like heating up the power cord, which is not good for long term. So I'll adjust this to another side so that the hot air goes and not blow towards the power cord, and that could be something to watch out for. It also has an auto stop function, which I have not tried. So it's being heated, so if you pull this thing out, yes, so it will actually stop the oven. So I'm going to like take this out, and then not brown, so let's give it a shake. Okay, just a slight shake just to loosen the fries. Just want to be careful here. Let me just move this around. Okay, and we'll put this thing back and see whether it starts again. Good, so when you put back, the timer actually continues. The timer goes on, it doesn't stop, because this is analog, but the heating cycle continues when you put back the basket. So I'll let this cook for another 6 minutes, and then we'll have a look. So timer is up, moment of truth. Let's see if okay, so the fries are pretty brown. You can hear how a bit of crispiness now. I probably need to let this cool a little bit more. Now it looks brown and good color, but I probably need to put it for an extra 1 minute. So I'll finish this thing off and then come back. Alright, so this fries is finished. I'm not open it yet. Give it an extra minute. So I've got plate ready. Okay, so it looks quite brown, and this took about like 14 minutes. So you can hear quite that this is quite grilled, quite crispy. I hope so. I'm just gonna like pour it. Actually, I shouldn't be doing this. Remember that before you pour anything, release the inner basket. Of course, there's not much oil, but if there is oil, then you know you might pour out the oil. So that's the result of this. So let me just show you if I can move the camera somehow. So let me just leave this there. Okay, so alright, so this is just dry fries with no extra oil, frozen fries, so there's not much oil here. And then let me just put back the inner basket so I can, okay, look at the fries again. So how are these fries? I'll try them. Need salt, clearly, but it's crispy enough for me. it will not taste as good as deep fried fries. 100% guarantee, and don't let anybody tell you that they are the same. They are not the same. I did not spray any oil on this, but of course frozen fries has some oil already, so I guess if you spray a bit of oil during the air frying, it'll make it a lot better. Definitely need more salt. It's quite good. You can see I can't stop eating. So I'm gonna put this thing back. Initial impressions: it cooks fries pretty fast. So this amount of fries without deep frying took about like 14 minutes at 200 degrees. The unit is compact and small. It's good enough for like a single or two-person home. Color is nice. During the first cooking, this is the first time I'm cooking food in this oven. During the first few cooks, there will be a bit of a plastic aroma. That should go away. Every oven has that, so no running away from it. I didn't like the hot air coming out a lot from the vents. You got to make sure that the vents doesn't blow against something that's sensitive to heat. Better if you leave this underneath your cooking hood so that maybe the hot air can be sucked out. I will want to see if I can attach a tube or something to direct the hot air out of my house or my room. The internal, the basket non-stick quality is above average. The basket is also quite relatively good quality. The only thing I didn't like is that the inner section of the air fryer is not lined with any metal or aluminium. It's just pure ABS plastic. Now I'm worrying about that. I don't know if other air fryers are lined with metal. I will go check in the shopping complex later. Unit is relatively easy to use. No special functions at all. And during cooking, it's warm, but not like super hot to the touch. I can leave my hands here, no problem at all. So okay, this is an initial review, unboxing of the Khind air fryer ARF26. I remember that this is actually a 2.6 liter air fryer. I suppose this is perfect for a single person or a two-person room, a kitchen. And the smaller the unit, the more efficient it is, because it doesn't have to heat up too big space, and it's good for cooking small amount of food. So I will try other recipes once this thing breaks in. Okay, so if you guys got any questions about this particular unit and model, please ask the questions below in the comments. I'll try my best to help. So I bought this unit about ringgit Malaysia 180 plus. With shipment it comes to about 190. It's not like the cheapest one, but you know, I am fond of this brand, although when I got it I wish it was a better quality unit, with line with metal inside, but it's not. But still, I hope that this would last for a long time. It comes with 1 year warranty, and Khind is a Malaysian brand. This is not manufactured in Malaysia for sure, but at least there is a service center here. So okay, any questions, ask me.